Today on What Went Wrong, how to make sure doesn't go down behind the wheel of a car. Hi, I'm Brett Mauser, and I've made over 40 feature films. And one of the projects I'm most proud of is the Innocence Saga, 10 feature films in 1 year. And today is going to be one of the first episodes we talk about specifically one of those films. And we're not doing it in order. We're jumping right into chapter number 6 with Easy Way to Die. Now, a little bit about, just a little side note on this. This I can't remember what month or exactly what months this was done, but we were done. I remember we had just gotten through the first 5 films, and we were all just toast. I think, for a good month or two, Brad backed away from producing. He was like, right. I can't, I need it. So it really fell on you and Amanda for chapter 6. We crawled through chapter 6, man. We were so burnt out, so frustrated. And fortunately, chapter 7 and chapter 8, the 1940 stuff was right around the bend. As soon as we hit that, we all got our energy back because we were in the 40s, and then right after that, we were in chapter 9, which is the Western. So we were all psyched about that, and then in chapter 10, it was like, okay, it's over. Let's just get through it. But chapter 6, I would say, I don't know if I'd say that was. I wouldn't necessarily say it was the most riddled with problems. I don't think that there was that many problems that we had. There weren't a lot of dropouts or anything because it was mostly a smaller cast. It really just revolved around Montoya, Amanda, and Sergio and Kristen. And then you and Brad had your little arc that you were going on. So it wasn't a very big cast. There weren't a lot of large fight scenes. But there was a pretty elaborate car chase in this. And this is where you really shine. Choreographing, now I know that there was one thing specifically that went wrong on this.
Yes. That damn Dodge van that wouldn't drive down the road straight. It handled like a 3-legged drunken water buffalo. And we thought, this is going to roll over real easy. We're going to use this for a rollover scene. The son of a bitch would not roll over, no matter what we did. We couldn't get it to roll over on flat ground. We put it on the side of a hill. It wouldn't roll over. We dug a trench to make it trip and go over, and it just would not roll. Everything we did, we probably wasted 3 hours trying to get that van to roll.
And that was a scene that was shot in one day, right? That was
and we still did everything in one day, but we spent the majority of our time on that one thing.
Yeah.
The other stuff, the car going through the fence, teaching Amanda how to do the 90-degree turn on gravel and stuff like that, all that went smooth. Hell, we didn't even paint the car till that morning. Mm. So, we ended up finally having just the whole crew, cast and crew out there, and we just flipped it over and decided to smash a car into it to get us some action out of it.
Yeah, get something out of it. Because we
that
never
was right before dark. Last thing we shot.
I was never even able to really make it cut together. Because I think we tried to fake the flip.
Yeah.
With the pushover, and it just didn't work. Just couldn't get it to look like it had flipped and everything. So when they come up to it, it's just It's just like a barricade. It's like a roadblock.
5 or 6 people decided to promote themselves to director. They're all yelling "cut" when we didn't want it to be cut yet. And
so
that was one time I saw you lose your temper. It's like, God damn it! I'm the director. I'm the only one that says "cut."
Somebody had said "cut," and that's what made me lose it because we couldn't. All right, yeah. So, yeah, I forgot about that. So what went wrong with the van? Why didn't it do what we wanted it to do?
It's like it felt like it got there almost, and then it just like, no, I'm stable.
Goddamn Dodge builds a good vehicle. Go Ram. Yeah, that Mopar wasn't about to go down. We needed more tires for one because we kept peeling the tires off of it when we're trying to get it to roll. But I've rolled vehicles that it didn't take a third of the effort. It's like, wow, that went over easy. And so you're talking a high profile van. It's got a high center of gravity. You know, yeah, it's at least going to go over on its side and we'll get some dust and stuff. Not that one. I mean, we had our stunt driver in that particular vehicle going off-road and everything else. We had, man, how many vehicles did we have in that car chase? 1, 2, 4 Crown Victorias, a Ram Charger, a Ranger pickup, and these are all outfitted with lights and everything else. They're full, what you'd see any constable using in the time period that we were depicting. And close to 10 vehicles. And we went out on Miss Hottie's ranch, and she let us do whatever we wanted to do. She said, "Can we tear down your fence?" She goes, "Yeah, it's not doing anything." Okay, so Brad and I prepped the fence so it'd go easy.
How did you prep it? I've got footage, and I remember that you backed the truck into it, and was it just basically broken?
We cut part of it, and then we pre-broke it a little bit because we didn't want anybody to get hurt in the car going through. And then the car that runs through the fence, which is really great, no engine or transmission in that car.
It was drag. It was cold.
We had to push it. Yeah, we pushed it.
That's right. Somebody, yeah.
Right. One person driving, another one pushing, and it did the going through the fence scene, and then that's the vehicle that eventually crashed into the van.
In the other parts of the movie, your character returns. Diamond returned in chapter 5 with Brad, and we saw them. But this is where we follow his and Brad's arc a little bit. But that there was a scene where you played a character named Owen, quote unquote Owen.
Oh my God, the hair!
And that came about from necessity. And Brad, Jeff, and I have talked about this before. But Santiago was supposed to be in that scene as Montoya, but he was sick as a dog that day. So we pulled you in and just threw the wig on because and then we're gonna move on that way. Now your character of Owen or of Diamond wasn't originally supposed to come back.
Right.
And this is where a little bit of the confusion came in because the Innocence Saga was written and plotted out and planned for all 10 films. The character of Diamond and Doughboy was supposed to be Lance and Thomas.
Right.
From the Last Blood series. And then when Dub was unable to work with us, I think he wound up moving back to Philly and then over to Denver or what have you. He didn't come back to work with us until chapter 9. Your character of Diamond was originally supposed to be the Thomas Leos character from the Last Blood trilogy, which if that would have continued on, it would have made a little bit more sense with the angel hunters and a lot of the prophecy and things like that. But when necessity calls, you gotta,
right.
you have to find ways around it, and very much the same way that when Ty couldn't come back to play Hal, we had to look and try and figure out, okay, who fits this character type, who's been shot in the head, etc. Who do we never know his last name because we had footage of Julio or Dexter in the cryo lab looks down.
Good morning, Mr. Curtis.
Because it was supposed to be Hal Curtis.
Right.
So it's like, okay, we need to find somebody who was shot in the head, who Donovan would find valuable, and somebody who we didn't know his last name. And we looked around, we found Jax. We were like, we can bring Jade back. Let's put him in this role, and that's how he became that character. Well, it was the same thing for Diamond. It was like, well, how
right.
Thomas Leos can't come back, so who is going to be able to fit into that role? And I think at that time we had seen enough banter between you and Brad to know that there was a chemistry there of that annoyance of each other. that
in real life too.
Yeah.
The banner was always going on.
That made that evolved that into that. So
and the wig just didn't cut it. I'm too recognizable, so that's when you had to blend it. I just couldn't pull off.
Yeah.
Totally
so we just wrote the
person.
line. Take it off.
Right.
We'll throw the line in here.
Yeah.
What's with the lettuce on your head?
So so sometimes the necessity is the mother of all inventions. You get you need to figure it out. You figure it out, or you don't have a film. By chapter 6, there was a lot of scrambling in that. There was a lot of just just tie the ends. It doesn't need to look good. Just tie the ends, because so many people there'd be a dropout, or there'd be something else, or any number of things would happen.
We had to change the horror.
Yeah.
There are so many things like that. But when you're doing 10 feature films in 1 year with no money, most people would have said, we can't do it. But that was not the attitude of the crew that you had assembled.
Yeah.
We all believed in it, and whatever we got to do, let's do it.
Yeah. And I'm looking back, and it's only been 10 years. And this isn't intended to insult anybody or put anybody down, but I don't think we could find that today. I don't know what's happened exactly. People become so money driven, so selfish. I just don't think you could find a group like we had back then.
Right.
To be able to accomplish that. What we're about to start to do with the 12 and 1, even though it's more films, it's still going to be easier.
Right.
Because it's not that continuity throughout them all.
Right. We don't have to keep the continuity. They're all 12 different stories. There's different people being directors and stuff. What people don't understand, when we did the 10 in 1 year, that was all you. You were the writer. You were the principal photographer. You, the director, the editor, and that's the only way that's possible.
Yeah,
which we've said many times before that was the only way to do it.
Yeah, because when I got on set, I whether we were shooting chapter 3 or shooting a scene from chapter 6 that we just had to shoot because our location. We weren't going to have a location in 6 months when we were going to shoot chapter 6. So we were shooting these scenes from chapter 6 and chapter 3. I had already plotted and planned it out, and I was able to know all the answers. Would this work? Would this not work? How does this tie in? How does this not tie in?
And the only storyboard was right in here.
Yeah, there was no storyboard.
Right in there. Not over here. I had no clue, but it worked out. I think you and DeMarcus and maybe Jeff were the only ones who knew what was really going to happen, what the end game was.
Yeah. Now, chapter 6, that was also the end of the studio. I don't know if you remember, but that because we were shooting in Lytle, and we had the ranch out there, and we had the little studio where we built all sorts of sets in, and going into it. They knew, the owners of the ranch knew this was a year-long project. This was going to be a year, and it was coming around to about we had the White House location set up,
right? And
that was when she had said, how long is this going to take? How long are you going to be making this movie? Well, a year.
A year. It's 10 movies. We're here for a year.
Yeah, that's been the whole thing. This is a pitch. 10 films in a year. So that was the point where I said, okay, we got to cut ties. That's it. We're done. Finish the White House. Tear the studio down. We're done. We're not utilizing this anymore.
What's your fondest memory of the set?
Of this set?
Yeah.
Tearing the down.
Which was a shame because we were going to be able to use it for the nightclubs in the 40s. Be able to do a lot more with those locations. Some of the fight scenes that were going to happen, things like that we could use the pistols and all this stuff. But it was that executive decision that had to be okay. Right. I see the trouble brewing now. End it. Back away. We're done. So the studio was done after 6. I think in many ways we were all ready to do that anyways, because there were so many problems from the noise and the trains, and if it ever rained, you could hear it in the wind. There's so many problems with the studio to begin with. But
the studio wasn't a regular film studio. We took somebody's farm shop and transformed half of it into a studio, which was very helpful. Yeah. We did accomplish a lot there, and I'm grateful that we had it for as long as we did.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, to be able to transfer from the Mexican brothel into the video store in a couple of hours.
Right.
You had 2 locations. When you
into the White House, into the dojo.
Yeah.
There were...
When you couldn't find a location, then we had we had the set. And then there were times where, okay, we're going to be doing this. Ain't nobody going to be letting us, shoot up a place and throw people through walls. Okay, gotta have the studio. Now the White House set, very good job from a set point of view. Where I failed was the green screen, and I've talked about this in other episodes. And it was just the technology wasn't there. I didn't have the best green screen equipment. Plus, we were shooting DV. And one of the things that I've talked about, we have so many of those tiny little windows that cause so many problems in post. And I've mentioned it in other episodes here, but I could have just solved that problem by closing the blinds. There wouldn't have had any problem.
Didn't have to be trying to show outside.
So even now, today, as I've gone back and tried to fix them, it's still not all the way there. But it comes. It's DV.
Right.
And with that smaller thing, it's just really tough to do.
Sometimes look for the simple solution.
And that's exactly it. Just should have, it could have been so much more simpler by closing the blinds. No more problem.
6 was really pretty decent. I mean, between the editing, because in that chase scene, we start at one location with 1-year model truck. No. We did the actual chase and the crash with 1-year model truck, and then we had to go back to reshoot the start of the chase, and that was with a newer model truck. And I think half the people didn't even notice it
because that car was totaled, wasn't it?
Yeah, her truck had gotten totaled, and she got the brown one instead, and the brown one wasn't going to work. Yeah. And when we went looking for somebody to loan us one, Brown Chevrolet loaned us one, but they wouldn't loan us a used one. They loaned us a brand new one, and it's like, that kind of went wrong. And then the weather, it started to rain. So it starts to rain at the beginning of the chase, and then it's beautiful day, dust clouds. And
because when we went back to do the start of the chase, I had to superimpose rain and try to drop the filter down and make it look like it was darker and fake the rain. And then because the real start of the chase was over at Minter's place.
Right, it's 3 locations.
Yeah, because they run to the car. Then they have the start when Sergio talks to them at the ranch.
Yeah,
they have that little gunfight. They get in the car. They drive off. Then we're off at another location, which
brought in more characters because now we needed some Texas Rangers to make up for the ones that the government agents would already lost. So there was a lot of creativity going on in that film.
The middle part of that chase was where it rained, so we had to
that's right,
make those transitions between the beginning.
I'd forgotten that part. Yeah, 3 locations. Great chase scene though. Mm-hmm. That's one of my. And talk about my high points of production, Day of 1,000 Mercs, the rave, and then you got to putting that chase scene together. Oh, yeah. So we brought a lot of cars, had to bring drivers in, had to teach some of them how to do a little bit of stunt driving, not a lot, but we're racing around on roads they're old paved roads, but there's also a lot of gravel, so that's a really slippery road to be trying to drive on. And that did help production value. It's amazing what we used to could do with no money.
Hi, I'm Brett Mauser, and I wrote the book on how to make a movie with no money. And here it is.
Yeah, see, it's got pictures and everything. So head on over to our website, notsosane.com, and get your digital or paperback copy today.